Hi everyone, welcome back to Goms Tech Talks channel. I'm Dr. Gomathi. In this video, I'm going to tell you the most used properties, page properties, which I will be always prefer to use whenever I'm creating a page. So this will be a continuation series, because there are various properties for page, and even you have a field level property. So page level properties which comes under this, okay, and where the field level properties will be specific to the fields, okay, and trigger properties which are specific to the triggers. So I have a big list of all these things, okay. So what often used page properties, I have nearly 12 to 13 page level properties which I prefer to use. I'll be explaining you why to use that, what is the purpose of that, and when you should not use that, what are the default properties of these page level properties, and more exciting things, okay. So now let us start. The very first thing, these are all the default one. You have to tell what is the type of a page, okay. I'm not going to explain these three things. I will be explaining other than this, okay. So let us talk about the caption ml, okay. Caption ml, you have a caption ml property in Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. This property is used to set multi-language. So this ml means multi-language, okay, captions for various elements in the user interface. This property allows you to specify a list of text strings in different languages, and the string that is displayed will be selected according to the user's language setting, okay, based on how the user is writing. For example, let us first see how we have to declare this. Okay, so I'm just going to declare this. The first one is, you can go ahead with enu, okay. So enu, which means like English, okay. You can start with enu, and you can tell if it is a name, okay, a new name. And then, for example, if I wanted to display based on the Danish, so I'll be using dan, which means Danish language. So you have to first tell what language it is, and then you have to tell how in Danish language how it will be, okay. So you can just tell like in Danish language, so you should also know that, okay. So I'm just telling you that we will be writing like this, okay. So this is, we call it as a language id, okay. enu is a language id, dan is a language id. Likewise, you can go ahead with deu, which is a German standard, okay. So you can go ahead with deu, comma, like you can write how much you want, okay. That is what the thing. So here you can see this is deu, which means like you can go ahead with a name, and then you can also write fra, which means French standard, okay. fra, which is equal to, and in French how it is named, nom, okay. Likewise, you can whatever the thing you want, no, you can just extend it, and then you can go ahead with comma, Italian, likewise you can see Russia, okay. How much language you wanted to go ahead with, you can just start. If it is showing this, which means that there is no such language code which is there in the Business Central, which is defined in Business Central, okay. So your language code should also be there. I'll be sharing that link with you. You can check the link in my blog. I'll also leave the link in the description, okay. So there are few language code where you have to use that. Which one is the language code here is what your name, name is a language code, okay. dan is a language code, got it. So this is how we will be creating it. So we can start creating by caption ml, which is a multi-language supportability, okay. This element, this is we can use this for tables as well, okay. So syntax is what we have to start with caption ml, and then a language id we have to give, okay. This is the standard language id, which is standard for Windows, okay, and it should be 3 letter. It is English United State, and this is Danish, so it's a 3 letter id. And the caption, what is this, is what the caption, okay. If it is English enu, then it should be the caption like this. Dan means what, dau means what, like that the captions you have to give, okay. So the default value property does not include an entry for the language used by the client at the runtime. The system will use the English language entry if it exists, Okay, so even though if you are not giving this property, system will automatically consider that English is a default property. If there are no language entry in the caption ML property, a default value will be used based on a specific fallback system. So, the Caption ML property is particularly useful for creating applications that support multiple languages, ensuring that users see interface elements in their own language. Okay, so here you can see these are all the various languages you can give it. Okay, this means that the interface is being displayed in Danish. If it is displayed in Danish, then the caption will be NABN. Okay, if they are using the German, then it will be like this. Okay, now let us see when to use this caption ML. So you can use this caption ML. So when you can use this caption ML is what multi-language support or multilingual support. Okay, if you need really a multilingual support and you need dynamic language switching. Okay, if your client is expecting for dynamic language switching and for compliance with localization. Okay, so for these three reasons you can go with what caption ML. Okay, so these are the reasons to go with the caption ML. But when you should not use caption ML is what, if your client is using a single language application. Okay, and sometimes caption ML might be deprecated in the future, or if they are using the advanced level of business central. And you can also use think about the performance consideration. Okay, because loading multiple language captions, you're trying to load multiple languages, so there maybe the performance level degradation may happen. And if you wanted to maintain simplicity, that is, instead of going with a multiple language, if you just wanted to go with a single language, then you can go ahead with the better not to choose caption ML. Instead you can choose a caption, which is just, it will tell you what is that. Okay, so this is what about caption ML. So this is the first property which I have discussed. Let us go to the second property which I will use often in the list page. Okay, that is card page ID. So card page ID is the property used to associate a card page with the items in a current list page. Sometimes, whenever you see a list page, if you click any list, that is the ID in the list, it should take you to the corresponding card page. Okay, you might have seen in most of the customers, I think in the customer list page, if you click on the customer ID, it will take you to the card page, right? So that one is related to card page ID. Okay, you have to tell what is the card page ID you wanted to link with. Okay, so this can be used only in the list page or list part page. Okay, list page or list part page. So only in these two things you can use the card page ID. Okay, so the card page ID typically displays detailed information for a single record. So here you can ask me, see Gomathi, you have declared page card as a page type as a card, but you are using card page ID. This card page ID is common for all the page type, but it is good to use only with the list or card list part. Okay, and when to use card page ID. So when you have a list of page showing multiple records, and you wanted to provide users with a detailed view. So to provide users with a detailed view, you will be using a what, you will be using a card page ID. And if you want to use a list part page, and if you want to enhance user experience, you will be going with a card page ID. Okay, and when you should not use card page ID is what, not for card pages. So that is what, here you should not use the card page ID, not for pages without any details, and avoid redundancy. If you want to avoid redundancy, you should not use card page ID. Then the next important property which I use, it was delete allowed. Okay, so this is to determine whether users have the permission to delete records from page within the application. This is most important thing which I really feel it is very important whenever you are creating the data and you are showing it to some users. So this you can even set in the permission. Okay, but specifically for the page. Okay, it is a property which can be set on pages to either allow to or to prevent the users from deleting the record when using that specific page. Okay, so when and where to use this. Okay, so you can use this, that is, if you are making it to true, then you mean that the deletion is allowed. Okay, and if you are making it false, then you mean that the records in your page should not be deleted by the user. Okay, so this when you can use it in the pages. Okay, and you can use it in the request pages as well. Okay, request pages, you have a delete page id, that is a delete page. And data management, this is particularly used for data management. Okay, so that is when we should not allow the data delete allowed. Okay, if you are dealing with the sensitive data, don't allow. Okay, that is, don't allow means do not, you have to make it as a false. Okay, if you have to make it as false. By default it will be true. Okay, deletion allowed is by default it is true. Okay, and if you wanted to, sorry, delete allowed, by default it will be true. And if you wanted to make it false, that is, if you don't want the user to delete your data, then you should make it false. Okay, why you should make it false? Because you have to manage your sensitive data. Okay, that is, the data should not be deleted by others, and workflow restrictions should be there. Okay, workflow restrictions are there, and read only pages. Okay, if you want to make your data as read only pages. Okay, and compliance and auditing. Okay, so on compliance and auditing, based on that, if you want to just make it compliance and auditing, in the sense, requirements to dictate that record should not be deleted by the end users. Okay, end user should not delete the record, in the sense you should go with a delete allowed to true. By default this will be true. Okay, then if you wanted to make it false, which means that no one should delete your data, then make it as false, which means that the records cannot be deleted. See, whatever the property you are setting here, which is common for your page, complete page, not for the individual field. Okay, so let us discuss the next most important thing is what editable. Okay, editable property is used to control whether field, page or control is editable through the user interface. Whether editing, like whether the user can edit it. Deleting is different, editing is different. Deleting, if you just go with that, then if the record is deleted, then it is completely gone. Whereas editable means if the person can go and edit the record and save the changes. Okay, so this property is set to either true or a false. When it's set to true, which means that you are allowing the user to edit the control, and if you are setting it to false, which means that you are not allowing the user to edit something. Okay, when you should use editable property, when you wanted to make the fields editable, when you want users to be able to enter or change data, if you want the people to enter the data or change the data. If you want to provide a dynamic UI experience, then you have to go with the editable. For example, if one person has clicked as true, then the another field should be editable in an editable page. That is a dynamic UI experience and user interaction. And when you should make it false, display only the fields. If you wanted to display, okay, make it false. If you just wanted to display that is, if you wanted to display the purpose only, to display the field and not to edit the field, edit. Okay, and on page or controls where editing could compromise data integrity, you should not use this. Data integrity problem. Container controls, if a container control is set to false, it will override the editable property of the individual control within it. So editable to true on the child control would be ineffective. Okay, and validation, you can use this editable to true or false for validation and for security purpose. Okay, so the editable property reflects the page mode that the page was opened in. If the page is not editable, it will return a false. Okay, so by default the editable property is true. Okay, you can edit it. If you want the people, that is the end user, not to use that, then you have to make it false. Okay, And let us the next next important property which I use is was the help link. Okay, so help link in Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central is used to specify a URL that will be opened when a user presses the help button or access the help feature in the user interface. So here you can see that help link, if I am pressing this as microsoft.com, so what it will do, it will pop up. Okay, so it will pop up like whether when the user click that, it will open the help link. If you wanted to give your own custom link, you can also give that. This will enhance the user support. User guidance can be added here, and it will help the like use to help the content. Okay, and where not to use this is what, if to avoid using it on a pages where the default help content provided by Business Central is sufficient for the user's need. And confidential information, if you wanted to avoid some confidential information, then you don't wanted to add this help link. Okay, fine. So 1 2 3 4 5, we have discussed about five important property which I always use here. So if you have any queries in this, please let me know, and wait, let us just execute this code and see. Okay, I have executed the code. Okay, so here you can see that even I cannot edit it because I have set the editable property to false, and even I cannot delete it because I have set the editable property any delete property. Okay, that is delete allowed property to false, so that is why I couldn't see anything here. Okay, so this is how these properties works. And if you don't want to allow the users to edit or delete something, you can just make it like this. So I'll see you in the next video with other set of properties, and if you have any specific property to discuss, please let me know. So in the next video we will continue. I'll also tell you five more important properties which I feel very important for everyone. Thank you, take care, and bye bye.